Welcome to Heaven of Human. This is the place where we talk about real life, real lessons, and the truths we often ignore. Here, I don't give you empty motivation. I give you perspective, direct, clear, and grounded in reality. Because human growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from facing the hard truths that shape us into stronger people. So take a deep breath, open your mind, and let's step into today's lesson together.
Have you ever tried to help someone who didn't want to be helped? You gave them advice, not because you were smarter, but because you genuinely cared. You saw the hole they were walking toward, so you pointed it out. You offered them a way out, maybe through words, money, opportunities, or just honest guidance. But they didn't listen. They shrugged. They scrolled on their phone. They laughed it off. And deep down, you felt this mix of frustration, sadness, and disbelief. Because you thought, I'm trying to help you, why don't you get it? I've been there too, many times, with friends, relatives, even people I once deeply respected. No matter how many times I spoke, it was like my words bounced off an invisible wall. Until one day, I realized the problem wasn't them ignoring my advice. The real problem was me trying to force change on someone who never asked for it. That realization changed everything. Because when you keep pouring your energy into people who don't want it, you end up draining yourself while they stay exactly where they are. In this episode of Heaven of Human, we're going to talk about one of the hardest truths in life. You can't help someone who doesn't want to change. And until you accept that, you'll keep wasting time, energy, and emotion on people who were never ready to receive it.
Have you ever tried giving someone good advice, only to watch them ignore it completely? I have, many times. Not just strangers, but even people close to me, friends, family, people I truly cared about. You speak out of concern. You point out a better path. You want them to avoid the mistakes you've made. But they brush it off. They nod without listening. They look at their phone while you talk. And in the end, your words disappear into the air. Wasted energy. I once called this situation like stuffing pizza into the mouth of a buffalo. Think about it. Pizza isn't made for a buffalo. No matter how delicious you believe it is, the buffalo still prefers grass. That's its nature. And the truth is, there's nothing wrong with the buffalo. The mistake is mine for thinking I could force it to appreciate what it was never ready for. It's the same with people. Sometimes we care so much that we try to hand over wisdom to someone who simply doesn't want it. These are the people who blame everything but themselves. Their life is a mess because of their mindset, but they curse their fate, their luck, or even the people around them. They wait for help, never thinking to fight, grow, or take responsibility. And when you don't help, they call you selfish. When you do help, they become dependent. I've experienced this so often that I changed how I live. Now, I focus on myself, my growth, my development. If someone doesn't ask, I don't interfere. If someone doesn't want help, I don't waste my breath. Because giving money to someone who doesn't want it is called an insult. Helping someone who never asked for it is called meddling. And trying to save someone who refuses to move is called stupidity. What's even more painful? When you succeed, those same people say it was luck. When you achieve something, they say you forgot them. And when you fail, they're the first ones laughing at your downfall. The hard truth is, some people must be left to face their own destiny. You cannot live their lives for them. You cannot carry their burden on your back forever.
The energy drain. The first thing you need to see clearly is this. Every time you try to fix someone who isn't ready, you're trading your energy for nothing. Think about how much emotional weight you carry when you care about someone. You think about their problems at night. You replay conversations in your head. You prepare what to say next time, hoping this time they'll finally get it. But they don't. And you walk away feeling heavy, tired, and sometimes even resentful. The truth is, your energy is a finite resource. Every moment you spend pushing advice onto someone who's not listening is a moment stolen from your own growth.
While you're busy helping, your own path slows down. Your mental space clutters, your emotional tank drains. And ironically, the person you're trying to help doesn't even notice the cost you're paying. They live their life the same way while you're left carrying invisible exhaustion. Real awareness begins when you understand not everyone deserves your energy. Good intentions are noble, but without the right recipient, they become self-destructive.
Why some people reject help. The second thing you need to understand is this. People don't reject your help because it's bad, they reject it because it threatens their comfort. Change, no matter how positive, requires discomfort. It forces people to question their habits, their excuses, and their identity. And for many, that's far scarier than staying stuck. When you give someone advice, you're essentially holding up a mirror. You're showing them what they could be, and at the same time, reminding them of how far they are from it right now. Some people can't face that reflection, so they look away, they dismiss it. They say things like, "That won't work for me. You're just lucky." Or they change the subject, anything to avoid confronting themselves. The truth is, accepting help requires humility, responsibility, and a willingness to change. And not everyone is ready for that. Some would rather protect their comfort zone, even if it's painful, than step into the unknown, even if it leads to something better. Once you understand this, you stop taking their rejection personally. You start to see that it's not about the value of your advice. It's about their capacity to receive it. Hidden ego trap. The third layer of awareness is a tough one, because it's not about them, it's about you. Sometimes the urge to help isn't just kindness. Deep down, there's a subtle ego whispering, "If they listen to me, it proves I was right. If they change because of me, it means I made a difference. If they succeed thanks to my advice, I'll feel important." We don't like to admit this, but it's there. Helping others can make us feel needed, wise, even powerful. But when people reject our help, that ego gets bruised. And suddenly, we're not just disappointed, we're offended. We take it personally. We keep pushing, not purely out of care anymore, but out of a need to be heard and acknowledged. This is the trap. Because once your desire to help gets entangled with your ego, you lose the clarity to know when to step back. You confuse their resistance with your worth. True maturity is being able to say, "I shared what I could. Whether they take it or not, that's their journey." When you let go of the need to be the savior, you stop wasting energy trying to control outcomes that were never yours to control in the first place. Detach without guilt. Once you see the truth clearly, the first step forward is this: learn to detach without guilt. Detaching doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you accept that other people's lives are their responsibility, not yours. Your role is to share what you know, once, clearly and honestly. After that, it's their choice whether to walk the path or stay where they are. Many people struggle here because they confuse stepping back with abandoning. They think, if I don't keep reminding them, I'm being selfish. But that's not true. Constantly dragging someone who refuses to move isn't love, it's control disguised as kindness. When you detach, you free yourself from the emotional weight of their decisions. You stop playing the savior. You stop blaming yourself for their stagnation. And surprisingly, this often creates the space that makes them reflect. Sometimes people only realize the value of your advice after you stop pushing. Remember, you are responsible for your intention, not their reaction. You can plant the seed, but you can't force the tree to grow. Protect your energy. Focus on your path. Once you've learned to detach, the next step is to protect your energy and redirect it where it truly matters, your own growth. Every ounce of effort you waste trying to push someone who doesn't want to change is energy you could be investing into your own skills, mindset, and future. And ironically, the more you grow, the louder your life speaks, louder than any advice ever could. People rarely change because of lectures,
but they often wake up when they see someone else rise. When they see the results of discipline, choices, and mindset in real life, it hits deeper than words. So instead of spending nights worrying about why they're not listening, use that time to build your craft. Instead of repeating the same advice, build a life that embodies that advice, because your growth has a ripple effect. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it's strategic. You can't lift anyone higher if you're constantly dragging yourself down. When you focus on your own path, you don't just become lighter, you become a living example. And that example is often the only help that truly reaches people.
Know when to walk away. The final step is often the hardest. Knowing when to walk away. There comes a point where staying involved doesn't help them, it hurts you. You've shared your truth, you've offered support, you've done your part. But if someone keeps rejecting growth, keeps choosing excuses, or keeps blaming the world, you must have the strength to step back and let them face the consequences of their choices. Walking away doesn't mean you hate them. It means you respect the boundary between your life and theirs. It means you stop trying to write their story for them. Sometimes, life itself is the only teacher strong enough to wake someone up. And by holding on too tightly, you may be shielding them from the very lessons they need to face. This takes courage, because your heart will want to stay. But wisdom knows, some people can only grow through struggle, not through your saving. When you know when to walk away, you reclaim your power. You stop fighting battles that were never yours to win, and you make room in your life for people who are ready to grow. Remember this, human growth isn't about being perfect. It's about refusing to stay small when you know you can be more. Every day you choose whether to protect your value or to give it away. And those choices, repeated over time, shape your future. So take what you've heard today and live it. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Because time never waits, and neither should you. If this message spoke to you, subscribe and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Together, let's build a life of real strength, real discipline, and real growth.